All right. Well, hey, welcome to today's session. We're going to be talking all about how to maximize your clients' SEO results with content syndication and signal amplification. This is kind of like a new thing for me, a new thing in terms of what you can do to generate better results for your clients from an ongoing perspective. And I really think this is important. I think it's mission critical. That's why I wanted to do a special webinar on this particular topic, because the problem we face as digital marketing agency owners serving our clients, collecting a monthly retainer, is that sometimes the clients don't get ranked, right? They don't get ranked for their main keyword, their GMB doesn't get ranked, their secondary and their third level keywords don't rank, even when you do all of the right stuff, right? Sometimes you do it all, right? You optimize the website itself, you've got all the right keywords, you've got all the right on-page factors, you've added them to the various online directory listings, you've done what you've thought is the right thing to do, whether that's buying citations or buying PBNs or building links, and they don't get ranked, right? And that's really an uncomfortable position, whether you just do SEO or whether you're a full service digital marketing agency in the room where you're doing SEO, you're doing pay-per-click, you're maybe doing funnels and social media advertising. But at the end of the day, we all know organic SEO drives a lot of high quality leads. And if you're not able to hit that, it can really slow down your results. The other thing that I've faced for a long time in our agency, and now serving about 175 or so plumbing HVAC companies throughout the country, is it's hard to show tangible ongoing activity, right? A lot of what we do is we set up the on page, we put the citation management in place, and we'll do blogging and stuff, but the client inevitably wants to know, what is it that you've done for me? What did you do this month? Where are my links? Like, what's the tangible outcome other than the calls and the leads, which obviously is what they actually want, but they also want to know, like, what was the activity? What have you done? Somebody posts for me in comments, a yes, a thumbs up, a something, if that's true for you. It's like, yeah, no matter how good we've done, and we can have the client ranked on page 1 for a dozen keywords, they can be generating hundreds of calls, that's our experience, but they still want to know, like, what's the deliverable? What are you guys doing for me? Jason says it depends upon the client. 100%. Yeah, there's certain clients that don't care, but there's usually that 70%, if you look at the 80-20 principle, that really want to know, yes, I'm glad I got results, but what are you doing for me now? And if we don't have a good answer to that, it can cause churn. The other reason this is really important is that, I don't know about you, that I always have this fear in the back of my mind that we're not doing enough, right? Or we don't have a best-in-class strategy. So we're constantly, reading the latest things on the search engine journal, on search engine land, and, buying courses and things. And you always wonder, like, is there some other thing that we should be doing? And it prevents us from having confidence, and it prevents us from really feeling like, okay, we've got this under control. We're doing this, and this, and we've got a best-in-class strategy that's in play. But I'd say the biggest part of this is, if you don't get the client's results, and if you can't show them activity, there's going to be churn, right? Clients will cancel. And that's one of the most painful parts in running a digital marketing agency is you do this work to get the prospect to raise their hand, and they entrust you to handle their online marketing, to generate the results, to make the phone ring, to generate the ROI. And sometimes we do all that work and we really even pour ourselves into what we do for the client, and they cancel. And that's a very, very painful process. And that's why this session I really believe is so important, because if we can't solve for getting the result in terms of rankings, if we can't feel confident in what we're doing and we're losing clients, then the clients aren't going to stick around, right? And the business is going to stagnate. And so I really think that's, the opposite of this is there's a massive opportunity to get this right. And that's what we're going to cover on today's session that I think can be a game changer for all of us as we run our digital marketing agencies. And that's that we can really get our clients to rank for their main keyword organically on the maps and the various sub keywords. We're going to unpack some really cool strategies on that front today. We can have a very clear ongoing strategy, right? That's not just, we did a blog, but it's like, we did a blog. This is where it got picked up. This is how many links and citations were developed. This is why your rankings are moving up across the board, and really have something to show them. How many of you feel like just that alone, just being able to have true tangible activity other than, and I bought some PBNs or I placed some links that you almost feel nervous about showing, but you can confidently say, hey, here's what we did. Here's a tangible result. Somebody put in comments if that would be like really, really a powerful thing for you in terms of retaining your client. Even if the results potentially didn't follow, just the activity piece would have a massive impact. Sean saying for sure. And you can feel confident, right? You can feel confident that you've got a world-class strategy. All of the boxes are being checked and you're doing great work for your client, right? And in addition to really getting them great results. And so if we get this right, if we can really solve for doing the activity, having something to show the client, really what's going to happen is the clients get results. Like you have an answer for that. What did you do for me? And your retention will improve. I can promise you this. If your retention improves just a little bit, the dynamics of your business shift drastically, because instead of having this to land, 5 new clients a month to get any momentum, you can land clients, have them stick around, and your recurring revenue grows on a very, very consistent basis. So I'm super pumped about unpacking this. I want to hear from you guys. What are you most excited about? Is it having an answer to the activity piece? Is it having like a tangible solution to get them better rankings over time? Just kind of share with me, what are you most excited about and how will this help your agency going forward? So lots of comments coming in. Absolutely solid strategy to retain clients and get great results for them. Specifically, since SEO takes time, good to have some activity in place to show progress. Just being confident on providing better service to my clients, says Gloria. Brad says, always looking for new and powerful strategies. Lynn, what's up? Glad to have you here. Always looking for ways to add more value. Sean, learning about good linking strategies and not things that are going to potentially hurt the client. No doubt. Good feedback. Thank you guys for sharing. So what I want to do now is I want to hand it off to Lynn. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And Lane, you should be able to take over, share your screen, and dive into the core content here.
Okay. You guys should be seeing my screen here momentarily.
Seeing it.
Beautiful.
So you guys have seen Lane in the group. Lane runs a company called Quantum Newswire. He's going to share the tool, but more important than that, like this really is a members session. More important than that is the strategy and the thought process around ongoing, how to position your company, how to do that work. So without further ado, Lane, it's an honor to have you with us and to share some of these cool things that have really even changed the way we operate here at Plumbing and HVAC SEO.
Thanks, Josh. Really good to be with you and the Seven-Figure Agency members. Appreciate all you guys being here today and taking time out of your valuable Friday. I promised Josh we would definitely get some value in today, regardless of what you decide to do with Quantum Newswire. Our goal is to help you as an agency owner have a better strategy and attack some of the things that Josh just went over. I'm going to move quickly so we can get through the information and get into a live demo, and that'll allow us then to kind of finish out and do some Q&A as well. I'm sure you guys are going to have some questions as we move. I will move through the slide deck, the first few slides, just quickly to kind of give you guys the backdrop on where this came from in terms of our platform and the context of the strategy. I'll then do a live demo. We have time. If we have time, I do have some quick case studies that I can show you just in terms of results and how the platform works in the real live world. We'll go through some quick pricing overviews and then go through the offer and the discount for your members, and then you guys can put questions in the chat while we're moving through the slides and demo, and then Josh and I and Matt can try and address those questions with you guys. So what is Quantum Newswire? It's a cutting-edge content marketing platform for authority, signal generation, and building EAT, or expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness to achieve superior search visibility. Where did it come from? Matt and I built our own seven-figure digital agency over the last 8 years. We had a primary focus on websites, SEO, and local SEO with some PPC or digital advertising thrown in as well. But the real core of our business has been SEO and local SEO. Through the years, especially before we got live with Quantum Newswire, we really got tired of beta testing other companies, what I call them crapware, after so many years of just going into all the different little offerings here and trying this and trying that and trying this and trying that. We figured, Matt and I had many discussions. We're submitting feature requests and bug requests on things that were just simply making the other platforms better, but also just not seeing them really address some of the critical misses that we saw in some other solutions like Press Cable and others. We focused on building in advanced SEO signaling strategies into this technology. So where with a lot of the other services that we'll talk about in a second, it's really just kind of a straightforward traditional PR service with publishing content out to live media sites. And it's just simply their software just takes your content and then pushes it out. We built a technology from the ground up with advanced SEO in mind. So this was built by agency owners who do SEO for a living. And we also wanted to build in as much automation as we can, because as you guys know, you can get, if you want to scale, if you want to keep growing, you have to leverage technology and automation as much as is possible to keep that needle moving forward. Other services you might have used or might be using already are some of these right here. These are other press release services. I kind of call them traditional press release services because we've really changed the game when it comes to using the authority of the live media sites. And really that's the only commonality that I think as we go through this, you'll see today, really the only commonality that we have with these other services that you're seeing here are simply that they publish to some live media sites that we also publish to. And at that point, there's a stark departure from these traditional services and what we've built with Quantum Newswire. I do like this image here. Content is still king, but distribution is queen, and she wears the pants. Really, content is really, really important. I think more now today than it even was 2 or 5 years ago. But and I think Josh even prefaced this earlier this week in one of the Facebook posts. If you're doing blog articles and they're just going to the blog and no one's really seeing that other than some minor, some little traffic that you're getting out of that, then the blog article and its effect on your SEO really has a very minor impact. When you take that same article and distribute it out to authoritative sites, you really get a huge boost. So what can you as an agency owner use this for? Well, number one, you can use it to build the EAT profile of the entity, your client, the company, and that again stands for expertise, authoritativeness or authority, and trust or trustworthiness. So you can use this platform directly to build the EAT profile of the entities that you are doing SEO for. Going back 5 years or so ago, Moz came out with this pie chart, their local ranking factors. And as soon as I saw this really struck a chord with me. And I really dug in and started to tune into these signal categories that they identified early on. And over the years, it's actually changed a little bit. They only had one pie chart back in the day, and now they have two, one for organic and one for the map pack or the 3-pack. But these signal categories really became my Bible in terms of just the underlying strategy of how we looked at, how we approached SEO for our clients. And so we began to look at what are the different tools, what are the different methods or strategies that we can deploy for an entity in terms of generating these signals in as many of the categories as we could. And so we found tools, we found software, we found methods and strategies, combine them together to create as many of these signals or fire off as many signals as we could across the different categories. And obviously these are just 8 major categories. There's lots of subsets here with different subsets of signals that fall under each of these major categories. This began to work very quickly, and so we really doubled down on that. And over the years, we just kind of got better and better at finding ways to generate these signals.
However, Lane, I'd love to kind of pause you for a second. This is awesome. I know my business partner, Dean, like 5-6 years ago, spent hours and hours and hours studying and trying to match our strategy to these factors. And I'd love to hear from those of you that are on live, how many of you are familiar with this and how many of you spend a lot of time studying it and trying to make sure your SEO strategy kind of matched up. I would just love to hear in comments, and then you can keep going. Lane, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, please do. I mean, like I said before, we want this to be kind of an open forum and discussion. We want to make sure that we answer the questions and really double down on the points that are important to you guys. So while everyone else is kind of piping in there, this made sense to me back 5 years ago, in that Googlebot is a robot, right? It's just constantly crawling and scanning the web, using the algorithm that's been developed. But it really made sense that the algorithm, or the Googlebot, is just looking for all these different signals, right? It's crawling the web, constantly scanning and looking for these different signals. And so that's really what we've done, is we've baked into the technology and the strategy with Quantum Newswire the ability to fire off major authoritative signals in at least 4 or 5 of these categories. So what is our platform good for? You can use it for brand SEO. You can use it for local map pack SEO, these signals here. You can use it for product or e-com SEO, service SEO, book SEO, author SEO. We've used all of the platform for all of these, expert positioning SEO, just taking a professional. Let's say you got a doctor, an attorney, a financial professional, helping them position themselves as an expert in their local market area. It's a great tool for that. Increasing trust flow to lower PPC costs. I know a lot of you do PPC. We had one of our users who's heavy into PPC and does huge campaigns alongside SEO for enterprises. And he remarked back, he said, after just a few weeks of using the platform, he noticed his PPC costs and his quality score went up and his PPC costs went down as a result of sending out more authority press releases for the entities that he was doing this for. And obviously, we can also use this to increase client retention with some of the strategies that we put into the platform. This is a different, infographic that Search Engine Land put out. The actual periodic table of SEO factors has been out for a couple years. I went through these different major categories here that Search Engine Land puts out, and just put a QN in here for all the different categories where we fire off signals when a content is distributed on our platform. And this will be available for you guys to look at as well. So let's talk about the e-profile, because it's really an important component of the overall SEO strategy that agency owners need to be paying attention to. This became especially important last August with the MEDIC update, as it was coined, that really affected the YMYL sites, Your Money, Your Life sites. And the June update really kind of took the August update and made more tweaks to it. In other words, the e-profile became more important again in the June update. So directly from Google's quality guidelines, here is what it says in section 3.1 for the manual rater to look at. Number 1, the purpose of the page. Number 2, look for the expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness, EAT. It's an important quality characteristic. Look at the main content quality and the amount of content. The rating should be based on the landing page of the task URL. Now check these last points out. Website information about who is responsible for the main content. You guys remember a couple years ago when the authorship was really big, and you could actually put some rich snippets into your code, and you could get your picture to show up next to your search results, right? Well, yep. When that happened, like the whole SEO world blew up with authorship, and we all kind of, and then after that change got taken away, or that authorship snippet disappeared from search results, I think a lot of SEOs figured, well, Google's just kind of downplaying authorship. They are specifically and still doubling down on authorship as who's responsible for the main content, who's the creator of the main content, and then look at the reputation about who's responsible for that content. And then they say, we'll provide you at Google, we'll provide you as a manual rater with links for help with doing reputation research about the author, right? So yes, this is some manual rater guidelines here, but obviously we know that much of this is also hard-coded right into their algorithm as well. So real quick, how is this different from other PR or link building services? Number 1, we are specifically and only focused on providing our platform, our software to agencies. All of the other services that I mentioned in that first slide, Press Cable, Press Advantage, PR Web, Cision, Newswire, all of them, they will sell their service to both agencies and directly to businesses, right? So they're a quasi competitor with every agency that comes on board. We really found out how important this was when we started using one of the services I won't name, but we started using one of the services, and we were putting in our clients as the PR contact on the actual press releases. And we started getting reports from our clients that they were getting emails from the service pitching them on a lower price press release service that they were offering directly to our clients. So much like what Yext did years ago in terms of going after some of the agency's clients, we really did not like that. So when we set out to develop Quantum Newswire, we strategically decided to only offer this to agencies. And in fact, if a business comes directly to us, they just get referred off to one of our agency partners. In concert with that, we are 100% private label. In other words, we're completely invisible in the distribution process. Nowhere in that process will Quantum Newswire's name be mentioned. They won't find it. Even with our WordPress plugin, it's private labeled. It leads to a shell company. It never leads back to Quantum Newswire. So we're invisible in the entire process. Now, a major departure of how we're really different from all the other services is how we handled the sourcing of the content. If we go back to what I just went through with the main content quality and the author of the content that's in the manual rater or in the quality rater guidelines, the way that the strategy that the other services use is that you put your content into their platform. Let's just use Press Cable for an example here. You take your content, you go to Press Cable, you put it into their platform, you hit the publish button, and it goes out. The first thing that Press Cable does is they publish that content to marketersmedia.com. It's the first thing they do. And then from there, they distribute out to their distribution network, wherever it is, whoever it is. And in every single one of those releases on the live media sites, it says source, Press Cable, okay? What are they doing? Well, they're specifically telling the algorithm the source of the content, the author of this content is over here on marketersmedia.com. All the other services have it as well, Press Advantage, PR Web, Cision. They all do that to one extent or another. On our platform, we allow our agencies to select where the source of the content is or is going to be, and then we specifically reference the source with a URL in the live media sites.
Hey, Lynn, if I can interject real quick, Linda Long is watching us in the Facebook group, the members-only Facebook group, and she says, re-authorship, if the agency is providing content, don't we want it to look like it's coming from the client? I'm confused. The answer is yes, and this platform actually gives you the ability to do that, unlike any of the other systems that are out there. So great question and exactly the right line of thought.
So exactly, and let's think about this. On the current services that you may be using, if you are using one of them, let's just take again Press Cable. If you're authoring content for ABC Plumbing, and ABC Plumbing is doing a press release about it for ABC Plumbing's purposes, right? And then that ABC Plumbing press release goes into Press Cable and then goes out. Isn't really the author of that, or shouldn't the author of that press release for ABC Plumbing be ABC Plumbing, right? Yes. It's their content, it's their website, it's their business, their entity. And yet what happens is when you source the content, when you author the content and attribute authorship to a third-party software platform like Press Cable or Cision or PR Web, what you're doing is you're directly diluting and transferring the source of that content and the authority that goes with it over to that third-party domain, which means you're diverting authority and signals away from your own client's entity or domain. And in fact, if you ever go and you do an exact match search for any of the titles that you've already done a press release on, what you're going to find is the pressadvantage.com instance of that press release is what's going to show up typically in the first spot, or the same thing with Marketers Media. Why? Because they were listed as the author of that content. So that's a huge difference and departure in terms of strategy that we deployed with Quantum Newswire. We also have a proprietary WordPress plugin that automates SEO and workflows. The plugin is not available in the WordPress repository. It's a private plugin you download inside your agency account and activate with an API token for your different clients. We also have an agency level plugin. It's the same plugin. It's actually a smart plugin. Features are turned on or off by virtue of the API token that you activate it with. We also have a direct Google Maps API integration with 3 distinct GMB signals that can be fired on each unique article of content that you put in our platform. Matt put in the comments just a few minutes ago how one of the key differentiators of our platform or our signals that we generate is that they are bi-directional. So we are not doing Google Maps embeds to place the maps on the live media sites. This is a direct Google Map API integration. And when the live media sites have the live content, we're doing direct API calls to pull that map into the live media sites versus embedding a flat source code, right? So we have bidirectional signals that are happening in real time, and as long as that content is staying live. Another,
I know that I believe we're going to get to a little bit of a visual where they can see what the live release looks like, why it's different. Are you going to be showing that here in a little bit?
Yep.
Okay, I just want to let you guys know, because I know as I was hearing this the first time, like I was understanding it, but I wanted to see it. Don't worry, we're gonna show some like real examples of this.
And I'm going through this as quickly as I can, but I think doing this first, once we get into the live demo, then more of this will mean something to you guys.
100%, no doubt. I just wanted to let them know so they're not like disengaging because they're worried that they're not going to get to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Good point. Another major departure is that we have do follow links on all these major media sites. Okay, none of the other services have on the live ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox sites. Yes, on some of the other lower tier distribution endpoints that they may have do follow links, but we have do follow links on the major ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox sites. That's a major difference. And then we also have in our technology the ability for you to select those as no follow instead. We also have, like I talked about, advanced SEO and automation. And we have omni-channel distribution options actually coming in July. And then we also have an advanced text editor. So if you're familiar with Press Cable, some of the other services out there, they don't have an advanced text editor. It's simply just copy and paste. There's really nothing you can do other than copying and pasting and adding your links. We have a superior text editor in that respect. Also, you can embed up to 5 videos and up to 10 images at no extra charge. So a lot of these other services will charge or upcharge you for embedding videos or images. And then we also, this is already live. We have post-publish editing. So ever made a mistake on a press release and gone, oh crap, that's going to have to just wait for 30 days until the content ges flushed to clean out the mistake on our platform with these live major ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox sites. If you make a mistake or just there's something you find you want to edit after publishing, you can go back in and edit post-publishing or post-publication. And then we also have a voice search distribution channel option coming in the next couple of weeks. All right, so let's get into the live demo. All right, you guys seeing my screen?
Yes, we are.
All right, I'm going to do a quick walkthrough, just give you a quick live overview of the platform, and then we'll dive into some of the nitty gritty of the different features. So when you log in, this is an agency account. It's pretty simple to just go in and add a new press release. You just hit the press releases button here. Got a little bandwidth here with the screen share. Create from scratch. Really simple 3-step wizard here. The first step is to select the company. So you can either add a new company at this point, which we call a company is the equivalent of a managed entity on our platform. You can select an entity if you already have one entered or saved in your agency account. Once that happens, we'll bring in the Google Maps. So in this case, the entity that I selected is a service area business. We have a new service area business map integration. And so if it's a service area business and you've set the business or the company up in your agency account as a service area business, then when it brings the map in, it brings in that SA or that service area map. If it's a regular, non-service area business, then it brings in the map for that business. And you can also just query the API right here. You can see it's a live map API query. It brings in the map for that business, and then we move right along. Second step is headline, blog headline. You're probably familiar with things like this. Then we get into our text editor, which is a little bit more advanced than a lot of them. You can add H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6 tags. You can tag images as images. You can add your links, your videos, and your images in here. And I'm going to go into a draft of a release that has content in here in a second. You have your anchor tag options for no follow. Then you go to step 3 once you finish your summaries, which is dragging in any other images up to a max of 10, picking your channel. This is the main channel that we have right now and all the different sites that are in this channel. And then here's where you can either display your agency name. So if you want it branded, the distribution to your agency name, you just check this box. If you want it branded to your client or the entity, then you just leave it unchecked. And then here's where you display your original source in the content. You'll get an option to either manually insert the permalink URL, or if you're using the WordPress plugin for this client and it's activated on their site with the API token, then you'll get an option to use the WordPress plugin as the source for that client. Let me go into a live press release just so you can see. What this looks like. So in this case, we've got a roofer here, brings in the roofer's GMB listing. We've got our headlines. This one actually still needs its draft because it still needs to be optimized, which is why I'm kind of going into it with you. Also, if you guys are familiar with Grammarly, the Grammarly has a phenomenal Chrome extension, and the Grammarly Chrome extension works directly inside our text editor. So we get advanced text help or content help from the Grammarly Chrome extension once we're inside the body of a press release, okay? Here's where you can add your different links. You can add links however you want. You could have naked URL links. You can have anchor text optimized links. Again, these are all going to be do follow by default. Once you add in at least one link into the body of the content, you then get the anchor tag options here where you can select any of these to be no follow if you want to identify that particular link as a no follow versus a do follow. A couple of other things that you can do in here. And this also just kind of will go into some of the ways that we optimize and create more signals using one piece of content. This image here, if you see here, I'll go into the image. We pull in the images in the body through a source image, a source URL for that image. And as you can see here, I'm bringing in this image directly from a GMB post. So what I did is I went out to the Google listing for this client and found a previous post that had an image associated with it and copied the image address for that post image and then brought that image post or that image from the post directly into the content here. Some really powerful Google My Business signals and image signals that come out of that. So we also will use Google Photos to pull in images as well. Those are the two main sources that we'll use for images inside the body of a piece of content. And then once we get done with step 2, we go to step 3. We can drag and drop up to 10 images here. Again, we pick our main channel, our sourcing, and off we go. So what does this look like? Let me go into a live release here. Alpharetta one. I'm going to pick a specific one so I can also tie it into a case study if you guys want as well. So here we go. So once the content is published, you'll get an email notifying you that publication happened. And when the report, our crawlers go out and look for the instance of the release out on these live media sites, and then brings the direct links into the report section for that piece of content. So we can, click on any one of these links and go out to the live media site. This is actually happens to be a radio station site. And then it has all sorts of other, the other different major media sites that it's showing up on. So let me describe the workflow, because this has got the WordPress plugin installed. So what happened is we put the content in the Quantum Newswire. The WordPress plugin has already been set up and activated on the WordPress site. So we add the content here by just simply going and creating a new release. We optimize it with whatever we're going to do, and then we publish it. Once we publish it, the first thing that happens is after it's approved on our side, the publication happens and pushes the article to the live WordPress site. So in this case, it goes to the live WordPress site, publishes that content here. Our system will then do a pause for 12 to 18 hours, which gives the sourcing of that article some time. You can also force indexing of the source permalink if you want. Sometimes what we'll do is we'll take the permalink URL and go do a tweet with that, or go do a quick Google My Business post, just to make sure that Google's crawlers hit this page quickly, so that it's set up for sourcing here to this site. Once the article is posted to the WordPress site, which happens automatically, our SaaS communicates with the WordPress plugin, pushes the content to the live WordPress site, and then 12 to 18 hours later, distribution happens to the live media sites. Then on the live media sites, what happens is you see the content that you put in there in your Quantum Newswire account. Here's a video you can use. Then what happens is we actually source the content like I said, directly back to the same website or the instance of that content on the live client site, right? Then about 48 hours later, after distribution happens on all the live media sites, then what happens is our SaaS communicates with the plugin again and brings in a random sampling of all the distribution links, random sampling of the distribution links, not all of them, into the WordPress site automatically, right? So this solves a couple of different issues, but number one, the client can directly go to their website and see where we did media placements for them in any given month. They can click on those links and it takes them directly out to the live media site. These are no follow links on the WordPress site, right? So we create do follow links on all the live media sites saying, hey, follow this, right? Follow it here. And then when the crawler comes in here, scans all this, sees all these links, these are no follows back out to all the live media sites, okay? So all of that happens on automation by our WordPress plugin. Another thing that happens, and I'm gonna go into a different site just to show you. We have smart widgets that you can place. It's theme dependent. So if your theme in WordPress has widget areas and you can do that, then you can actually put in smart widgets into the widget areas, and the widgets only activate on a live press release page. And what happens is the widgets bring in the company information. This is the same information that you've already put into our SaaS platform for that client. It brings in their information and a company map in schema markup. So this is all marked up in schema, and this is done automatically on the live press release page. And then again, once distribution happens, the WordPress plugin and the SaaS work together to bring in a random sampling of your distribution links for that PR. And so we create a nice circle of love, as I call it, for Googlebot to go out, find these live media sites, follow the do follow links, find this instance of the article, which is the source, and then no follow those back out to the live media sites in a nice loop there. That all happens with our WordPress plugin and on automation. Some people say, well, what if I don't have a WordPress site? What if it's a Squarespace site or a HubSpot site? Not a problem. All you got to do is just use manually inserted. Put your permalink URL for the press release content on your live client site, and then just put the permalink in there as a manual URL instead of using the WordPress plugin. Yes, if you don't use the WordPress plugin, You don't get the benefit of all that different automation I just went through, but that's how it is today. We're working on some alternatives to WordPress going forward, but with the WordPress plugin, you achieve some great automation and some additional on-page signals. So if I go back to my slide here, what have I accomplished with one unique article of content on our platform? With that, what we have done is we have then fired off Google My Business signals. How are we doing that? Well, we are directly calling from the Maps API, the map for the related map listing for that entity. So we've got live GMB signals here. We can also send GMB signals through images, like I pointed out, using a GMB image. You can also, we also give you, let me show you here, when you're in the press release creation mode, we also have a tool that automatically grabs the Google Maps CID link and the Google Maps Pearl link for you automatically. All you got to do is click on it, and it'll copy the Google Maps CID link or the Google Maps Pearl link for you to then use in the body of the content for one of your links to send some more signals. So with one piece of content, we are creating or firing Google My Business signals. We're definitely firing off authoritative link signals. We are firing off on-page signals. On-page signals are both on the live media sites and on the WordPress sites. So we're creating on-page signals on a myriad of sites, not just the money site. And then we're creating citation signals. Every single one of these press releases has a structured citation built in to the footer of that PR on the live media site. So you're creating an automatic 50 to 53 new structured citation signals. And then that's the major components there. We also will fire off some behavioral signals or social signals by taking some of these live press releases and then putting them into social media and posting it out from there and driving some traffic back to these live media sites and also creating social signals that way. So with one piece of content, you can hit signals in 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 8 major categories, and mind you, the top 4 in the top 5, right? So the only thing we're not creating is review signals out of our platform. Although you can send links to reviews inside the press release and create some review signals that way as well.
Hey, Lane, can I interject for a second?
Yep, please.
Awesome. This is amazing. I remember I was seeing it the first time, and I'm reading the comments in here, by the way. Josh is saying, my mind is blown. This is huge. Holy crap. Sean's saying, this is slick. I've spent tons over the years with Cision for my other businesses. This seems to blow that out of the water. So I mean, people are getting it, and the value here is awesome. I just want to hear from you guys in comments. How many of you guys watched or purchased the program called Maps Liftoff by Brian Wheely? I'm sure most of you guys, at least that was like the number one Maps training that went out. Bunch of yeses coming in. Everybody's saying yes, 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 yeah. All right, so in that training, one of the big things was anchoring your categories and map embeds, right? And doing the map embeds and creating ways to share your post images. This platform was kind of baked into this a little bit. That's where he's showing you the map embeds. That's built into every press release or every syndication through the platform. So imagine once a month you're doing this post, and now you're getting map embeds not on the client site only, but also on these 50 plus news sites. That's like a very, very, very powerful play. So the other.
Oh, go ahead, Josh.
Want to add anything to that, Lane?
Yes. So just a little bit of a nuance here. These are not map embeds. These are actual live map API calls to bring the live map into the live media site. So it's a bidirectional signal. We're querying the API to pull the map in here instead of you going into our platform and pasting in your code, right? So if on some of the other services where they do have a map embed, you have to go and actually get your map embed code and then paste it into the PR, and then they use that map embed code to embed a static map onto that site. This is different. This is a direct map API call to pull that live map into the live media site. So there's a much stronger signal by querying the Google Maps API and pulling it in versus just a flat embed code.
Got it. Great distinction. A couple people were asking about, so should they have a blog page? So Brent was asking, and I think I also saw someone else. Where should they have a blog page or a PR page on the site?
So it's a great question. So if you use our WordPress plugin, when you install and activate the WordPress plugin, our plugin automatically creates a /press-releases archive category for you. Okay, and then it pushes all the press releases for that entity to that archive page. You can also set up a short code driven page as well if you want. It's your choice in terms of how you set it up. What I do with single location companies, so we've tried to go multi-location strategically in our agency side over the last several years. So we have several multi-location companies. Our plugin is not advanced yet to handle multi-location press releases and syndication to the site for all the locations. So this is an example of a multi-location company. So the primary location or the primary location that we're trying to drive as much rankings to is set up with the WordPress plugin. The other two locations, which are separate entities or companies in our agency account, right? So if I go in here in my agency account and set up a managed entity or a company, right? I'm setting up all three locations for this landscaping company right in here, okay? So in the company section. So the other locations are set up as well, but what we have to do then is our plugin cannot syndicate the press releases for the other two locations to the same category and bring in the distribution links. It's only going to happen for one of the locations. So on the other two locations, we take the same press releases, we manually post it to the blog, and then we manually will put the source link URL in the press release. Okay, so if you're not going to use the WordPress plugin, then yeah, you could still put it all on the blog. It doesn't really matter whether you put it on we call it the blog page or the news and media page. That's really just semantics. It's going to go to a set place on your site, whether it's the blog or elsewhere, and then you'll be able to just use the manual feature for sourcing.
So the big aha moment for me as I was going through this with Lane the other day was we do blog posts every month for our client, and we just kind of do a blog and it sits on their site, and everybody on our team knows that blog is an activity to show the client and just about it. Like, it really doesn't get indexed, it doesn't drive any value. And so I've always thought, press release syndication, content syndication is a good idea, but it's an extra activity you got to do. It's an extra expense. It's an extra content strategy. But the reality is you can take that existing blog post that you were going to do anyways, put it through Quantum Newswire, have it hit your client's site and via the news plugin, but have an exponentially stronger impact because you're passing all of these signals. So when I sat down with the team and I walked through it, they were just like, oh my goodness, yes. Like, we've needed this for quite some time. We needed something that's actually going to drive more links, that's going to drive more citations, going to drive more signals to our ranking factors, and be able to show the client. Like, when you run an Ahrefs report or a link report, they'll see that we're getting actual links on a very consistent basis for the client from high quality, relevant sources. So for me, that was a big aha moment that this can really dovetail and replace a counterproductive activity with something that's very, very productive and will impact the results as well as the relationship with the client, where you can really show them, here's what we did, here's the syndication, here's where it got picked up, here's how your links are increasing, and that's what's driving the results.
So there's a couple of questions about blog content and articles.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
So yeah, I wanted to jump in, and Stephen Rice has been asking some really good questions, and he's getting some feedback from others. So as Lane kind of shared in the very beginning, this truly is a content marketing engine, and we say that to be distinctive over just being a PR platform. So currently, yes, to Stephen's question, does it need to be written as a blog or a press release? It does have to be nuanced slightly so that it appears to be a press release. So we're moving towards, in our development roadmap, to being able to syndicate to a lot of other locations outside of just the partner media sites that are located throughout the country. So for instance, Lane hasn't had a chance to go through the details because it may be too detailed for this webinar, but we have a place in the press release for a blog summary. And the purpose of that is in the very near future, we're going to allow you to post the core PR content onto the media sites, and then the blog summary of that PR, you'll be able to post to social media networks and others, as well as you could post direct images to Instagram, and those links will drive traffic to the PRs. So it's kind of a multifaceted approach. And then in the midterm future, our development roadmap will allow you to post content to other similar websites to create content and link backs from a lot of other diverse sources outside of media sites. So currently, we're still in our initial launch phase. We've been live for 6 months now, and we're about to pivot to our second phase, which is really going to make the platform much more distinctive in terms of not being solely distributing on PR media sites. I'll let you guys jump back in.
So for writing the way it needs to be, the only real big difference right now is that it needs to be written in third person versus first person. So if you're writing a typical blog post for a client of yours, it's a lot of times it's just written in first person, so they're writing about themselves. The only difference here is it needs to be referenced in third person, so no references to my, our, we, I, things like that. It's like a third party person writing an article about the company. So that's the biggest difference of how the article or the content has to be structured today, is it has to be written in third person. As you can see in some of these different examples I've already shown you, these are a little bit different than what you might typically see as a traditional press release. We're using 4 tips or 4 scenarios when a professional painting company is needed. So it's as long as it's written in third person and it's not an overt advertorial, it's going to get approved on our platform. Also, while I'm on content, we also allow for content on CBD oil, medical cannabis, and regular cannabis. So, illicit drugs are still off limits, but cannabis and CBD are okay in terms of content. There are some people that are going big into those niches, so I figured it would be good to at least mention that as well.
So there's a couple questions here that I thought were really good that I'd love to have addressed if you have a quick sec.
Please, yeah.
Okay, so Lane's Alan's asking, Alan Hillsberg, glad to have you with us live here. I was saying, Lane, what results have you seen over time using this strategy, and have you seen better results in maps, organic, or both? And what time frame are you seeing the results? And finally, this is how many releases per month is optimal?
Great questions. So I had some search terms and search results up here for you. Just a quick go through. You saw us doing the Southern Landscape Lighting Systems here. Using the near feature just to drive, because I'm not in Georgia. So you can see here number 2 position maps. They also their Alpharetta location down here, number 3 spot. They're also in organic here. Right here on page 1, organic down here, right here, spot 5. Different search term, Marietta Landscape Lighting, number 1 map pack, number 2 organic, number 3 organic, Alpharetta Landscape Lighting, number 2 map pack, number 5 or 6 organic, number 7 organic. A different client managed IT services, number 1 map pack position, number 2 organic position, number 3 organic position. Look at all the images here. These are all PR images that are ranking here. Managed IT companies near Wake Forest, number 3 map pack position, number 2 and number 3 organic position. Look at our agencies. Our agency site is actually ranking on page 1 because our agency plugin is aggregating all those press releases onto the agency site. So our agency site is actually ranking on page 1 for a completely unrelated term to our agency, but because we're syndicating that content to our agency site as well. So those are just a couple of quick examples, Alan, on that regard. What was the other two questions, Josh?
So the next question was, are you seeing more on organic, more on maps, or kind of a mix? It seems like kind of a mix based on what you're saying, because you're passing GMB signals as well as organic signals.
Yeah, it's a mix, and it's not just map pack and organic. It's also image, as you saw. All right, and video. So
yeah, so Melanie was actually, so since you're going to talk video, was just talking, will this work for video as well?
Yeah, so that 3-location company I just Southern Landscape Lighting Systems, they're up in the Alpharetta area, way north of Atlanta, right? But part of the strategy now that they're doing really well in Alpharetta, Marietta, and that whole north area, they're doing pretty well. In fact, I'm gonna just quick divert there real quick, because that client, we thought, she just seems a little bit hard to make happy sometimes. I don't know. It just, we've always been wondering, how is she really feeling? She called me the other day and said, Lane, we would absolutely not cancel the SEO we're doing with you guys. It has made a significant difference in our business this year. We're definitely way up. And our ROI we're already at a positive ROI, not even 6 months into the year, on what our annual spend is with you. So just as that was just a quick testimonial I got from her a couple days ago when we had our meeting. But so we're trying to pull her now into the Atlanta area just as part of that strategy. Also because we're trying to position her as an expert, that expert positioning strategy with building her own EAT profile as an author. So we did one press release with this one video that we created, and she's already on this 3rd spot here. And look at all the others. She's got 3 spots on page 1 of video ranking just with one PR. So yes, it works for video SEO, it works for image SEO, works for map pack SEO, and it works for local organic. And is it that one? Oh, I'm on, there we go. It also works, this is a client here on national SEO. This is not a massive keyword here, but the competition is really stiff. Why? Because one client for this company here is worth $250,000 to several $1 million, just one client. So we have been strategically positioning this client. You can see here we own the top 3 positions here, plus images here. These are all for that client here.
Nice.
So it works for national SEO, local SEO, map pack SEO. Frequency to achieve this, well, it's hard to say because it's really built on competition. So we default to 1 article or press release per month, per location, per keyword theme or keyword set. So, where we have a roofer, the roofer does roofing, siding, and gutters and painting. So there's really 4 different keyword sets. So I told the roofer, if you want us to help you rank for all 4 of those different major services you provide, we need to be doing 4 articles a month, not 1, right? Because we're going to have, each article is going to be focused on a keyword topic or theme. So that really depends on the scope of that SEO campaign with that client. It also depends on the competition level for that geo market that you're trying to rank in. We default to 1 a month, but then we'll increase frequency based on additional keyword sets or based on a greater level of competition.
I would say, Alan, our strategy is just going to do one a month. Right now, we do 1 blog post for our client every month. We find that the on-page stuff that we do, the links, the citations, the online reviews really move the needle. And then 1 blog post a month syndicated in this way should have a major impact.
Yes.
And we'll be able to be strategic with the links that we place within these distributions. So, we've got a drain cleaning page, a water heater page. In your case, there's other services, right? So you can link 1 month, you link to the home page, maybe 1 month you link to the drain page, 1 month you link to the sub-city page. By doing so, you're building authority for the overall domain, and you're also building authority for those internal pages that you want to see move up the ranks over time that usually don't get any attention at all.
Yep.
Matt,
can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I wanted to kind of share it. The platform provides a lot of tools, and there's a lot of underlying code that helps support. But ultimately, it's supporting the quality of the content and the thought process and strategy that you guys as the professionals as the agencies are deploying. So I see a lot of content come through, and I see some agencies, they really just limp in and they do the minimum. We have a minimum of 300 words as a minimum threshold. And a lot of times they're trying to, get content through that is spun, which is barely even readable. And they'll put one link in. Well, so that person, and a lot of times we have to reject that. The media sites do have requirements. It needs to be readable by a person. And it needs to be beneficial content. It can't just be, 3 ways that our company is going to do the best job for you. It really needs to be sort of a newsworthy event. I mean, it doesn't need to be newsworthy for everybody, but if the company's hiring, if they're offering a new product or service, or, there's a reason why you need to, trim your trees during this time of year because it prevents infestation, things of that nature really go a long way. In addition to that, adding outside links. So a lot of people think that's counterintuitive. We should just drop 10 links in the blog content or the PR content that go directly to the client. It's actually absolutely the opposite. You should be if you had a tree service client, you should be referencing the National Arborist Association, because that's valuable content that the readers of that article about, that are trying to find out about why we need to trim our trees before winter, they're going to click on that and reference that. And so there should be a multiplicity and diversity of links that are not just focused and making the PR look very spammy, that we're just trying to drive traffic and juice to the client site. It should be beneficial. So the more time that you spend on creating quality content, the longer lasting effects this is going to have. And I'll share one final thing and then I'll let you guys jump back in. A lot of people think PRs, and rightfully so, and Lane will get to this shortly, is PRs typically have a purge cycle, right? They only have a life cycle of 30, 60, or 90 days. We've done something that is radically and completely different that has never been done. Our PRs live forever in perpetuity. Now, they live in different places and spaces, but for user experience as well as overall link passing and link juice, they exist forever on the web. And I'll let Lane get into the details of that. The only reason I bring that up now is because the more time that you spend on the quality of the content and the links that you're creating within that content, since we're managing those links and we're managing this content on your behalf in perpetuity, it makes sense that you want to put more time and emphasis, and quality behind this.
So that's a great point, Matt. It's a great segue. So we also baked into the technology the strategy of to deal with the 404 error that you get with press releases after the content gets flushed off the live media sites. So two big ways we're different in this respect. Number one, on our platform, the content can stay live up to 90 days on the major Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC sites. We have a new channel coming on that the content will be live a minimum of 1 year, okay? But for this purpose here, these sites, these are live, this is live for 90 days. With, as far as I know, still, Cision, PR Web, Press Cable, it's all 30 days. On day 31, this content gets flushed, and if you go to that URL, after that flush happens, you just get a 404, this page is no longer valid. And so what we did is, with our technology, Matt and the team did a phenomenal job of building an integration with the Wayback Machine. So what happens is once the press release gets published and it goes out to all those live sites, our SaaS goes out and makes an exact replica of every single one of the pickup sites, right? So we create an exact replica of it, and then just before the content is scheduled to get flushed from the site, we publish every single one of those instances of the pickup sites to the Wayback Machine. Our redirect links then that are out here on the live sites then automatically redirect. Let me show you this one. Will automatically redirect to the web archive version of this pickup once the content has been flushed off the live media sites. So another reason why we want to source the content to our client sites and not to, not the live sites. Why? Because the live sites, eventually the content will or may come down. But if the content was put here first on our live client site, the content can always live here on the client site. And then the links can always live here just with redirects out to what you see here is the web archive version of that site from that specific, live media site, the Fox site or whatever. So that's the web archive feature or the permanent web records feature. You'll see that in the back end of your agency account. When you go in here, it's on by default. You can also toggle it off if you don't want to use that feature. But the web records feature is one way that we combated and tried to address both the 404 error with the flush that happens on press release content, along with the user experience that happens. And the user experience is also a big part of SEO, right? We don't want to send people to 404 errors. So, Matt, anything else on that? On web records? Okay. Josh, any other questions there you want to address?
Yeah, I think there's some good questions. It looks like Matt's answering them as he goes. A couple of people asking, how long does it take for this to start to pick up results? And I know you still have a lot of stuff to cover, so I don't want to go too much longer on questions that might be able to answer in chat.
So time to rank is anywhere from 1 to 6 months in what I've seen. Why that range? Geo markets, competition levels, the starting point, or the existing baseline of where your company is at when you start to use the platform. We've gotten results in under a month. We had a pediatrician who I don't want to waste time going into, but we had a pediatrician who did not exist as an entity. We created the entity, did one press release. They were in the map pack with a brand new GMB listing for pediatrician in city name in less than 4 weeks. Not a lot of competition in that city, a better geo market to get that really, really fast result. And then, for the heavier competition geo markets, I'm seeing anywhere from 3 to 6, maybe even on the outset, 8 or 9 months. But that's not really an issue of our platform. It's just an issue of you needing to generate more signals because the competition is greater.
Yeah, I just want to say on that front, there's no silver bullet, right? This isn't like you throw a press release into this platform and these signals fire, and next week they're ranked 1 on maps, right? You guys are all smarter than that, right? There's a strategy that goes into play: on-page optimization, off-page optimization, citations, reviews. And we know that doing this on a consistent basis moves the needle, moves them forward. It's different in every city and every different keyword. So just, keep that in mind. Ken was asking me, what do I think about replacing this with blogs? That's our plan, right? Instead of wastefully posting a blog post on the client site, we're going to push it through Quantum Newswire, have it hit our blog post, and give us the additional reach that we're not getting from that effort currently. So I'm going to toss it back to you, Elaine, and let you continue pressing forward.
I'll pick right up there. So, there was that. We wanted to create as much systems as we could with automation so that we could just keep growing and growing and growing without all the pains, right? So we stopped doing blog posts, and we only create a blog post written in third person, right, for our clients now. We don't even do, the traditional blog post written in first person. We create one blog post per client location per month. As a standard, we put that one blog post written in third person in the Quantum Newswire. We then hit the publish button and walk away. The WordPress plugin picks up, publishes to the WordPress site. The WordPress version of that article is now live. Our system then goes out, distributes to all the live media sites, and then a few days later brings in all those links. And that's all done in automation with schema markup and everything. We have, with one piece of content, we have created new citations. We've created new GMB signals. We've created authoritative link signals. And we've created on-page signals, all with one piece of content, put in a Quantum Newswire one time and hit publish with.
I want to address a question that just came up, an important one on by Joshua Russo. He said, if a client cancels, does the content stay? Does the blog post on the client site stay if the account is canceled? So the direct answer is no, and here's why. This is very strategic and important to understand. So the WordPress plugin currently, you know, the way that our accounts work is we have so many managed entities, and there's a reason for that. We want to encourage you guys as agencies. We suggest that you bill your clients on a monthly basis. A lot of people see PRs as being a one-off, or if it's part of your monthly SEO strategy, it's part of your package, right? You just kind of bake it in. But we really want to communicate that, you know, you should distinguish this. Now, you could still make it part of your overall strategy, but if you charge $50 or $100 a month to your client just for the WordPress plugin being installed, you can communicate to them that, you know, all of these press releases, all of this content is being managed on an ongoing basis. And very shortly, we're going to provide you guys as agencies a dashboard, a signals management dashboard. And what that's going to do is help you really, really communicate the value of what you're doing for them. Now, they'll be able to see it. You'll be able to send them, you know, a link report, and they'll be able to see all the media sites that it's being distributed to. And we're also building in some automation for that, so you don't even need to send them a report. Soon you'll be able to send them you'll be able to check a box, and we'll drip under your agency's name. We'll drip a report, drip an email notification saying, you know, your company was just found or picked up by 3 new media sites, you know, Fox here, ABC there. And they'll get excited because that'll come in stages. You know, you produce one press release. Over the course of a month, they'll get, say, 3 or 4 notifications of several new media sites that have picked up their press release.
Versus giving them one report with all the links in one report, which has a diminishing value over time. I found that our clients just didn't even absorb or consume that report with, you know, 50 or 100 links in it. But if they got 2 here and 4 there and 3, you know, over time, the value of what was done was actually perceived as greater versus giving them one PDF report after the release happened. Go ahead, Matt.
Right. So the thing with signal management, when you guys properly execute a press release, or have us do it for you, because we do have a done-for-you solution. Those of you that don't want to write, we have a team of very experienced writers that also have the ability to optimize the articles as an option. So, you know, they can embed strategic links that, you know, make sense for that particular niche. So what can be managed are textual content signals, video signals, right? You can embed YouTube videos or Vimeo or whatever. You can embed review signals. You can embed map signals, image signals. Literally, there's 13 unique signals, many of which are bidirectional. So we're actually pinging those signals and keeping them alive. Additionally, we'll be teaching strategy on how to drive traffic. Just like if you guys are familiar with reputation feedback loop requests, we're going to deploy something very similar in the sense that you'll be able to upload your client's database if they give you access to it, and then send out an email or text message broadcast with, you know, and these are obviously warm. These are existing customers of the client, and they might want to brag and say, hey, customer, check out this new, press release of us. And they'll get some traffic from that. So if they have 300 to 500 clients, maybe they'll get 20, 30, 50 clicks to these press releases, which will generate real organic traffic to the press releases, which goes back and brings that juice to their money site, right? I'll let you pick back up, Lane. Okay.
Josh, do you have anything you want to touch on? I can keep going into, other things in the platform. We're pretty much done with the live demo. I already showed you some case studies.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people asking about the price and the support if somebody signs up through this. So I'd love to make sure we cover that too, because the strategy is sound, right? This is an amazing platform. We're going to be using it, so if you dive into that, I think that would be great.
Yeah, let's close that.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got on a rabbit trail. I never finished answering Joshua's question. Sorry about that. Got on a rabbit trail. So yes. So what if you cancel? If the client cancels the service and you guys uninstall the plugin, then yes, they would lose all the content, and that's direct and intentional so that you guys can communicate the value, what you guys as an agency, by bringing this technology and this strategy to your client, you're providing them ongoing value. This is not a one-off press release. You as the agency, your plugin and your technology, your strategy is bringing them ongoing value that's under management. It's irrelevant that most of this is automated, and not all of it is automated. There's a lot of thought and strategy on your part as their consultant as to, you know, the content strategy, the link strategy that's being deployed by the platform. So you guys are bringing some integral, you know, strategy pieces, and we're providing you the technology under your own brand, right? So that's where we're saying, you know, you should be billing $50 to $100 a month just for the plugin. Now, whether you build that into your overall package, you should be communicating that so they realize they need you, right? This creates stickiness as an agency that makes it very difficult to separate from you, because if they end the relationship and you take the plugin with you, they lose literally tens of thousands of links, because every press release that you send out, it can have anywhere from 10 to 13 unique signals. That's multiplied times 50 to 100 sites, and then that's multiplied by whatever tiered networks you guys are using. So literally one press release can produce hundreds, upwards of 1,000 signals just for one press release that we keep under management on your behalf indefinitely. So if you produce 12 press releases over the course of a year, you're talking about thousands of signals that are under management on behalf of your client. No, they should not shut that plugin off. But if they do, yes, Joshua, they lose everything.
Yeah, and it goes back to the question of retention, right? We want to be sticky. We want them to have a reason to stay with us. And a lot of times when a client cancels, if you don't have something like this, you know, they continue to coast. And they're like, oh, I didn't even need them anyways. Or in this case, you could say, look, when and if you cancel, like, you're going to lose those signals. So I don't want to beat a dead horse, but it was a good question, Joshua, and very well answered, Matt. Thank you.
All right, so pricing here. Really quick, Carlos asked how many different categories can our team write about? There's really no limit. It's our writers are good enough to do a little research, get some help from you in terms of the angle or the keywords you're looking at, and then write the article. So we haven't experienced to date, Carlos, any limitations on categories or niches or what have you, right? So pricing, two components to our pricing. We have platform access. This is your agency getting access to the platform to have your agency account and then to begin to board your clients in and then use the platform with all the features and all the things we discussed today. So once you have your platform access, you then either have credits or can purchase additional credits. The credits are what are used to either do distributions of the content, or if you want us to write it for you, credits are used to also order the writing service. So once you have your access is broken down into two options right now: monthly subscription plans or a lifetime charter membership. We will be shutting lifetime charter memberships down. In fact, next week, our lifetimes are actually going up by 20%. Lifetimes are limited for obvious reasons, because we're maintaining this stuff over the lifetime for all, not just for the agency, but for all the agency's clients and all those signals. So we only opened up 100 spots for people who wanted to invest in lifetime access versus just going into a regular monthly subscription plan for their agency platform access, okay? So once you have your access, you then get credits. You use credits to purchase or do distributions. So someone asked, well, how much does it cost for us to do a distribution? On the Quantum Newswire main channel, it's $10 or 10 credits. So once you have your access, you want to go in and send an article out for distribution. If it's your content, you're bringing the content into our platform, it's just going to cost you $10 or 10 credits to do that distribution. If you want us to write for you, it's an additional 50 credits for a 600-word article and 40 credits for a 450-word article. So that's a quick overview on how pricing works.
So does that boil down to about $40 to $50 per done for you written press release then?
$60 basically for a done-for-you press release, yes, which is cheaper than even than the competition, yeah.
No doubt.
So, on our month, just yesterday, someone had a question. I was working through an agency who had a question about, you know, what's the real cost for me then if I have my access plus it's costing me 10 credits? So we did it off of our gold plan, which monthly, which is $119 a month. So I said, if you do 25 releases a month on the gold plan, which costs you $119, you basically have to purchase an additional 230 credits. And at the end of the day, what happened was if you did 25 releases off that plan with buying the additional credits, each release came out to $13.96. for that scenario. So the more volume you do on your plan, whether it's monthly or lifetime access, the lower you get to a true net of $10 per distribution on our main channel. So what are the options that we have here? We have silver, gold, and lifetime. These are lifetime access without a monthly subscription. When you invest in silver at $747, you get initial 100 credits, you get 10 managed entities, and the content stays live for 30 days. On gold, it's $14.97, includes 300 credits initially. This is just a one-time issue of credits, not each month, because it's lifetime access. 25 managed entities and 60-day content live, and then platinum, $24.97 one time. That includes $1,000 worth of credits. So you're really only paying $14.97 today if you did that for your lifetime access on platinum. That includes the 1,000 credits, 50 managed entities, and a 90-day content live cycle, plus the post-publish editing feature as well. We did open up a monthly platinum monthly subscription special. So for those who didn't want to do lifetime access, rather than $239 a month, which is our regular price for platinum monthly, we have that at $197 a month. You get 50 credits monthly. Every time your monthly subscription renews, you get an additional 50 credits into your account. Credits never expire as long as the account stays active and in good standing. And so those are the couple of specials there we have. So we also gave a 5% off discount on any lifetime access level or monthly plan. So if you want 5% off, just use that code 7FA5. Don't see why you wouldn't, but use that code if you want to save 5%, and that's good for any level that you join in, whether it's lifetime or 5% off the first month on the monthly plan. So for those who are running close on time here, here's the URL if you want to go and check out the landing page. I'll bring that up, but if you want to, Josh, if you want to, or Matt, maybe you can throw this. Oh, you already did. Great.
Yeah, I put it in there.
Awesome. Thank you. So what that landing page is, it's right here. Just as an FYI, if you come to this landing page from your mobile phone, you're going to have to tilt your phone into landscape mode in order to see the pricing tables. These pricing tables are extensive, interactive, and ClickFunnels just doesn't have an advanced responsive pricing table option. So that was our workaround for now. So here are the lifetime access options. If you scroll down a little bit more, you'll see the monthly subscription plan options. Just as an FYI, don't pick the platinum monthly at $239 if that's what you're going to do. Use the top pricing table because that's where we have the special 20% off on the platinum monthly. So $197 is up here. The other thing that we did as a special was for some people who want lifetime platinum but don't have or don't want to part with $24.97 all at one time today, if you click on this little button up here, $24.97, if you just click on it, it'll open up a new option, a new page, and here we have three platinum payment plan options. So if you wanted to do platinum lifetime but didn't want to part with $2,500 at one time, minus the 5% discount, you can sign up for a 10-payment plan, a 5-payment plan, or a 3-payment plan. So in order to get to that payment plan page, you just got to click on the $24.97 one time right up here, and that'll open up that window for you. So published, someone's asking me, what can you reiterate? Can you reiterate what the published length item means? So the content will stay live for 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days, depending on the level that you come in at. So you get, you're on a platinum level, your content's staying live for, 3 times longer than if you are in a silver plan. The content staying live means, go ahead.
So the content being live, everyone's asking questions about they thought it was forever. So it is forever on the web. The media sites, they have different life cycles. After post-media site, because there's no media site that will leave the content live forever. Post-media site, and as Lane explained, the silver, gold, and platinum, it's 30, 60, and 90 days. Whether it's 30, 60, or 90, we keep the content live forever on the web through web archives. You heard Lane explain that we actually have a direct API connection to web archives. We post that content, and not only do we post it to the web archive, we actually manage the links. So I don't know if you want to show that to the lane if we have time. We're probably running low, but if you go to the WordPress plugin, we have the distribution links, right, that go to the different media sites. We take a sampling of different media sites, and if you click on any of them, after a period of time, we know when those media sites have purged the content after 30, 60, or 90 days. We then redirect on a per media site basis the user to the web archive for every single media site pickup, not just one, but every single one. And that's in perpetuity. That's extremely important because that's part of the user experience. And then of course, yes.
So some good questions in here. Alan's asking, once purchased, what's the training to get this set up? Like, these guys have teams, so they want VAs they can plug in and like kind of let them run and implement.
Yep.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, great question. So we do have a knowledge base. It's not extensive because it's really pretty straightforward, but we do have some video tutorials in here. We also have a Facebook group that we'll add you to that has some webinar replays in. And then we're doing at least a webinar a month. We're doing one next week again for all of our members where we go through Q&A. We do some optimization tips. We share some best practices. So that's one of what's in our knowledge base. To access the knowledge base, once you're in your agency account, it's just this icon right up here at the top. You just click on it, and then we have different categories that we keep adding to. And then if you have an issue, you experience a bug, or you just have a technical question, we have an integrated ticket desk. So this is not an external Zendesk or Freshdesk. It's built right into your agency account. All you got to do is add a quick ticket, subject, priority, message. These tickets go directly to Matt, who handles our dev team, and then he handles it accordingly depending on whether it's a billing issue or a bug or a technical question or whatever it might be. So we have an integrated ticket desk and support center to handle those types of questions, and then additional support. Time allowing, I'm happy to get on a Zoom meeting with you and your team and just do a quick, training with them and answer their questions to help you and your team, get acclimated and, working within the platform to your liking. So, obviously we're still small enough. We have just a couple hundred agencies. I can still do that. As we grow and grow, we'll have more staff to do that as well. But for now, you'll have me to kind of lean on and help you through, any onboarding types of questions or needs.
And Alan, to kind of answer that, the same thing here. I don't write a piece of content for our company. I don't distribute press releases. So I needed to make sure the strategy was there and I could hand it off. And there was enough training in this portal that my team could say, okay, I get it. I know how to order the content. I know where to put it in. I get the strategy on where to place my links and how to sync it. And there's some very specific training that walks through that. And as members, of course, as we use this in our SEO members area, I'm going to be explaining kind of how we're using it, so you can even simplify it further for your members and for your clients and for your team.
And to your point, Josh, I'm in the Facebook group there, so I'll be there to help support, answer questions like I have this week as well. Brian
Stearman had a really important question too. A lot of us have hundreds and hundreds of clients, and it said something about a 50 client max. Like, how do you deal with that?
Yep, no problem. So it depends on whether you're coming in at lifetime access or a monthly plan. If it's a monthly plan and you need to just add on more managed entities, it's $5 per month per additional managed entity. So again, if you're charging for the plugin and you had a managed entity, it's already paid for anyway. But that's on the monthly plan. If you come in at lifetime access and need to add on, I'm dealing with one right now that wants to add on 1,000 of their clients. They have 1,000 entities that they need to add in here. It's a one-time charge of $2.50 per additional managed entity. So in his case, he'll spend an extra $2,500 one time, have all 1,000 entities into the platform, and then he'll never have monthly charges. So we had to accommodate a different pricing plan for those who come into lifetime for additional managed entities versus those who come in on the monthly basis and just want to add one here. If you're in a monthly, if you go past your ceiling, you just add them on one at a time. Another question we get for those who have large companies, a lot of different clients, if you do have that, we can also do a bulk import of all your clients for you, so you don't have to go in and add your clients one by one by one by one. We'll work with you and support to just get that spreadsheet or Google Sheet from you and then do an import for you so that you don't have to do setup one-off.
Brian, hopefully that answers that. It's not, and we're talking about $2.50 on the lifetime access to add extra entities. So it's you can kind of scale it as much as you need, but there's an incremental cost once you pass the 50 mark, basically, right, Lane?
Correct.
So Stephen wants to know, once they come off the 90 days of being live on these media sites, how much of the signals disappear? Obviously, when it's in the Wayback Machine, it's still archived, but we're talking about 100% drop off, a 99% drop off. Do you know?
Matt, do you have any sense on that? I don't know if we have that empirically, calculated in terms of the amount of authority drop off or, signal drop off that you get. Obviously,
sure.
Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah. So without revealing too much, in case we have some competitors listening in on this webinar, you'll notice that a lot of the other platforms, they specifically push and hype how many hundreds and hundreds of distribution sites there are that they have, right? And you guys will notice, those of you guys that have used it, you'll be able to agree with this, is that in the indexing, you'll see in the secondary supplemental index, it'll say 187, 259 omitted results. That's actually extremely negative, right? When you have the same content being distributed over 300-400 sites. It's absolutely ridiculous that they hype that because the results get omitted. So we've taken a different position. We actually are intentionally not trying, and I'm not going to answer any specific questions on this because for strategic reasons, but we are intentionally only indexing a handful of sites out of the 50 to 100 sites that we do distribute to. That's extremely intentional because the long-term impact, based on the way that we distribute and based on some very specific references, is that we're passing that juice immediately and permanently to the source site. Now, whether that's WordPress or your GMB site or whatever, as Lane indicated, we have the WordPress plugin. You can manually insert the source site, right? So we are strategically referencing that and passing the juice immediately, 100% of it, right? We're not passing it to some press room on AB Newswire, where they have a business listing press room, or Press Advantage, they have a press room. We're not passing the juice to that press room on that news site domain, right? All of the majority of the juice gets left right there. You get a little bit of pass through, but not the majority. So once Google realizes the source, they permanently reference that. They're going to de-index the PRs in the future anyway. And since they're immediately passing the juice, it doesn't really matter. When the media sites get purged, there's no impact. I mean, actually, from what I can tell from all of our testing, is that the juice permanently gets passed through, particularly on WordPress. And it's irrelevant whether the news sites are indexed in the beginning or even long-term. So I'm not going to add much more to that. All I can say is I would strongly encourage you, those of you that don't have WordPress sites, we are planning on spinning off WordPress sites for you guys in the future automatically. But it's pretty easy to spin off a WordPress site, even if it's not your client's main WordPress site. Just consider it a web presence hub. I would definitely use the plugin because it obviously makes things much easier. Or at least if you're using a GMB site, use the GMB post page, paste that link, and then reference that as a source. I mean, that's fairly easy for those of you that are not using WordPress.
Dave had a good question too. What about what if my client has two sites? He's got a main company site and then a roofing blog or whatever, a plumber's blog. You can install the plugin on as many of the client sites as you want. There's no limit. So if the client has two sites, install the plugin and just activate it with the same API token, and then the plugin will run on both sites simultaneously and syndicate the content to the WordPress site automatically to both sites automatically for you with the same functionality. And I don't think I ever showed you guys an example of the agency plugin and how it aggregates. But on brandequation.com, if you go to the news and media link, you'll see this what an aggregated news page looks like. So I just say, hey, we're the press contact and news media publisher for our VIP and Premier VIP clients. Here are all the different PRs that are aggregated there. And as you saw, one of these is actually ranking on page 1 for a term because, these also have the same distribution link functionality. So we bring in the distribution links on the agency site through the plugin as well. So your agency can begin to build its EAT profile and your entity authority as an agency by using the agency version of the plugin and doing all this as well. So you can also use the agency plugin for niche directory sites or niche marketing sites. So an example of how that's been executed is a niche site where this is basically running an agency plugin, and it's also a directory site. So you can spin off an agency niche site and syndicate press releases to a niche site like this, all with the same type of functionality. So there's different use cases in terms of developing niches that you may want to exploit as well. I know a lot of you guys are very niched, right? Or if not all of you. So
most of us.
Yeah, you can use the agency plugin to dive into a niche and build. So as an example, another version of this is we've got a newer agency that's building a niche site just for builders and realtors. And they're going to, basically create a directory of builders and realtors, position the realtors as experts, the builders as experts, and then syndicate all that content into the agency site using the agency plugin, and also have a directory component to it as well, where they feature the realtors and the builders as features in the directory. So there's different use cases that you can use the plugin in from a niche standpoint. Other questions?
I think, the bottom line is, yes, this is a product that's available for you guys to purchase. We're agencies. Most of us are doing SEO, pay-per-click, website development, and we need to get our clients results. You build this into the price you charge the client, right? If you're charging them $2,500 a month or $1,000 a month, you just make sure that you've carved out in your cost of goods sold, whatever tier it is. Like for us, it's $10 per press release, plus our writing costs. If you're going to use them to write it, plus the release cost, like this is a cost of goods sold in your agency, and it's something that inevitably is going to help you generate better results for the client and help with your retention play, right? Because you're going to be able to show them, here's what we did, here's how we're building links, these are the signals that we're bringing to you on a consistent basis. And so that's why I wanted to bring this to you guys as members. I do not promote tools. I don't, that's not what I'm about. But when I find something that's going to be critical to your operation that we're going to be using in our business, I have to bring that to you guys.
Another question too that saw Stephen had, what priority do you put the service on for month number 1 along with building citations? So I use this in month 1. If we're doing a new, oftentimes when we bring on a new client as an agency, the first thing we got to do is go in and do a bunch of work on their website, right? The website's a mess. It needs on page, maybe needs some new design on their home page, whatever. So we typically will do a new website type of PR and do that as a value add to the client. So we don't charge them for that. It's just like hey, we're finished with the website. Congratulations on your new website. Oh, by the way, here's a new press release we did about the launch of your new website. And oh, by the way, here are some pickups and all that. And then we have the press release plugin installed on their site as part of that new website design and setup process anyway. And then we show them that, and they're like, wow, this is awesome, right? So we build it into the first month because it's part of the website. And then from there, we just keep producing new content each month and reinforcing and pushing the client right back to the website going, here's the website, here's the new article that we wrote for you this last month, and here's the links. The fulfillment is self-reported through our WordPress plugin, and we just keep pushing our clients back to there in terms of what have we done for you lately.
Good stuff. I have a couple slides I want to do and wrap up. Is there anything else you need to cover, Lane, before I take back the screen?
That's it. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Let me just go. Has this been great, guys? Like, do you feel like you've gotten value from today's session? A lot of clarity on how you can do better SEO for your clients, generate, better results really at the end of the day. Okay, good. I'm getting good stuff.
Hey, Josh, one thing before you dive into close out.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you guys is, as an alternative, if you're not building links and building link signals, you're really going to struggle with SEO, right? Because especially with the latest algo changes in the last year. So if you're building links, you're creating link signals, the only other alternatives really that I see are either guest posting or PBNs. We've always stayed away from PBNs because we can't risk any of our clients' domains getting burned. We'll lose our reputation quickly by burning a domain because we're doing some really, risky stuff. So that's why we've always approached SEO from a content syndication standpoint, because it's original quality content coming from the client. It's their content, and then it just gets syndicated out because we want to do content marketing on that content. In the process, we just happen to be building link signals as well. But if you're doing any other kind of link building, PBNs or guest posts, how much is that costing you? For one link on a guest post of a DA or a DR of 50, what is that costing you to have that permanent link there for, the year? Anybody have any feedback if they're doing that? I can tell you that when I'm looking for quality guest post links that are on really good authoritative sites between 50 and 80, it's usually $300 or so, $200 a month, $100 a month. It just depends, but it's a lot of money for one link, right? So if you look at the cost comparison to things like that versus doing one article on Quantum Newswire where you can not get one link, but you can create, let's say, 2 or 3 do follow links that go out to 50 sites, you're creating 100 to 150 do follow links on higher authority sites than what you can get and typically on a guest post blog, right? For pennies on a per link basis. If you do the math, what is it for? Let's say it costs you $15 net for the article on our site. If you're getting 100 links and it costs you $15, what's the how does that break down in the cost per link? It's literally pennies. So the cost differential here is massive.
Yeah, really. And the alternative is it's really one of two things. One, you sit on your hands and you just kind of say, well, I hope one day this client's site ranks and that they don't ask me what I did because I didn't do anything really other than a blog post, right? That's one. The other alternative is to do questionable SEO tactics like PBNs and buying links, which are even more expensive. So it's really a great point. Like if you're serious about doing this for clients and you believe that SEO is a big part of your strategy, there aren't a lot of other alternatives, right?
Yes.
Right. So I want to leave you guys with this. The big idea in my mind, and this was like the big aha that really changes things, is you replace your monthly blogging that is a wasted activity with the syndicated post and then multiply the effect for almost the same exact effort, right? If you're writing blog posts every month anyways, you might as well push it through Quantum Newswire, get the effects, which solve for those two key things, right? Actually passing all of those signals, which move the needle in terms of results, and then also the activity question. What links did you get? What did you actually do for me that's going to move the needle? Daniel's got some questions about voice search. Let me wrap this part up. And then hopefully, Lane, this has gone a little bit longer maybe than he anticipated, but I think it's been awesome. Hopefully we can talk about that a little bit before we completely close out the session. So really, if we look at our overall SEO strategy, right, we got to get the on-page stuff right. Pages for each of the services in the main cities, optimize the titles, the H1s, the URLs, unique content for each page. Like this is common stuff, right? But we got to make sure we get the fundamentals right. From there, we've got to claim the local listings, right? Claim Google Maps, drop them into a citation management tool like Yext or some other citation management tool to get lots of, name, address, phone number consistency on the structured citation sources. Get them onto the major data aggregators. That way it's getting pushed out and we've got consistency of name, address, phone number. We got to put some type of strategy in place to drive online reviews. So an email goes out after every service call asking their customer to write a review for them and kind of systematize that process on behalf of our client. And then we want to add new citations on a consistent basis using like a citation burst, Web 2.0 ranker. There's lots of tools that can do this to kind of move the needle in terms of citations for their rankings. But ultimately, what we're solving for on today's session is really the ongoing content strategy. What you do month 2, month 3, month 7, month 12 that are really going to pass the signals that are really going to move the needle. And really for us, it's to push out the one blog post on behalf of the client via Quantum Newswire tap into the social signals and to the signals engine, and then really leverage expertise, authority, trust, and get lots of do follow links pointed back to the website, the GMB listing, and the internal pages on their client site by rotating how you link that. And Lane really outlines this pretty well, but you don't just link back to the homepage. You link to the internal pages on the site, the subsidy pages on the site for secondary pages that we want to move up in search. And a lot of times that gets ignored. And then multiple map embeds or the other terminology that Lane gave us. And this is solving for fresh content being added through the WordPress plugin to the client's website every single month. And so ideally, this gives you a pretty high level checklist of what you need to do from an SEO perspective for your clients, both out of the gates and then on an ongoing basis. And so, I'd be remiss if I didn't leave with some very specific next steps on today's session. The first I really think is to sign up for Quantum Newswire or something equivalent. I don't know that anything equivalent exists, but you need a tool like this if you're going to do this for your clients, right? At the end of the day, Lane's given us some really good pricing, whether you do it monthly or lifetime. I would say if you get one or two clients and you can afford to pay for the lifetime, take advantage of that opportunity now. It's not going to exist forever. And you just get that monthly cost off the books, right? So I would say first step, sign up for Quantum Newswire or something like it. Make sure that you get your clients set up correctly and the WordPress plugin embedded, right? It sounds like there's an option if you've got 20, 30, 100 clients like we have, where you can supply all the details and Lane and his team will import that in for you so you don't have to one-off or have your VA enter everybody one by one. But the second step is to get everybody set up. And then the third step is to really just commit to push out at least one new syndicated post per month per client. And obviously you can do more, right? If the client's, multiple service, multiple trade, multiple location, have more and have it at an incremental cost. So these are the key steps, the key takeaways. I've placed the link a couple times in here where you guys can take advantage of the pricing. So do that, bake that into your strategy, get your clients set up, start pushing this out, tap into the training in the Quantum Newswire portal. And Lane is in the Facebook group. You've seen him. He's very interactive. He's able to answer questions there. And then I'll be putting our specifics on how we're using this in the members area as well. So I'd love to hear from you guys, and we're going to stick around for a couple more questions. But what were some of the key insights from today's session? What were the things that you took away, that you found interesting, that you found beneficial, and more importantly, that you'll actually implement to move the needle in terms of getting results for your clients, improving your retention, and or anything in between? Put those in. And while you guys are posting your comments, Lane, can you mention anything about voice search? Dan was asking about voice search and how important that is. And
yeah, you bet. I actually had a slide for it, but I'll just reference it. We actually already have had this live. We pulled it off just to create the new channel, but our system will distribute the content into the voice search ecosystems of Google Assistant, Amazon Alexa, Apple Siri, and Microsoft Cortana. So we haven't. I can't tell you, again, empirically with data, what difference the trials that we ran made or not. But we all have been, voice search SEO has been a new topic, and it's a new frontier for all of us. I can't imagine that having content and links in the voice search ecosystem isn't going to play a role in doing better in SEO. It's, if you looked at that search engine land periodic table of SEO factors, it was one of their new frontiers that is definitely going to affect. That's a new category of signals. So we think it's it's only going to be like 3 credits to add on the voice search distribution. So it's not going to be expensive. It's going to be extremely affordable and cheap. So that'll be an option. And again, we're almost done with the voice search component, and we have 65 new newspaper/financial sections of newspaper sites that will be live. Those all have DA of around 60 to 70. And then we're working on a massive radio station deal we'll have 150, could be as many as 200 different radio station sites that will be available as a separate channel for distribution as well. One of the reasons why we—
Let me add something real quick.
Yeah,
okay, go ahead. You're gonna. So yeah, as I was sharing earlier, there's a lot of hype about the number of channels of distribution or the number of sites. So the things that we're mentioning, those are unique channels. The one differentiator that we have, another differentiator, is that we allow you to distribute to a unique channel. So let's say that you had a 12-month campaign. It makes no sense to distribute the same press release or a press release for the same company 12 times over the course of a year to the same 400 or 500 media sites. That creates a footprint that echoes automation. Automation is an SEO's worst enemy, right? Because that's what Google says. That's not legitimate. That's not normal. That's not organic. So what we've done is we've created the ability within our platform to have multiple channels so that you can diversify the distribution channel on a monthly basis. So if you only wanted to distribute to the radio stations that we're bringing aboard, as opposed to the national news sites, you could do that in month number 2. Month number 3, you could distribute just to the voice search. Month number 4, you could distribute to the financial network. You guys will see how that varied footprint will bring a lot more value. And you can actually do PR stacking, where you're referencing previous PRs and your new current PR, which are on a completely different network of media site partners. Go ahead, Mike.
Awesome. Hey, there's a couple insights in here that I want to share and a couple other questions that I want to cover. So Alan's saying key insight, plugging directly into the more important ranking factors can make the service more efficient that he offers his clients. Lynn says, as far as being able to deliver something for clients each month, it'd be tough to beat the bang for the buck on this particular option. Linda says, this is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Linda, thank you. Really glad to share it. And over in the Facebook group, I'm sorry if I missed these. You guys are over here in my other tab. But both Melanie and Linda are saying, look, we got the lifetime access all in. And they just want to know what's the if they wanted to a la carte charge this to a client for like random press releases, what do you guys recommend pricing that on an a la carte basis, even though we tend to kind of bundle it in?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have one client from a different group who joined 3 weeks ago. He's already paid for his entire lifetime because he's just selling these as one-offs at $400 to $800 a piece. The range, I think, is just because what the value perception is with each client. Some clients will pay more, some will pay less. But he said he's already sold 8 one-offs, which means he says I've already paid for it in 2.5, 3 weeks.
Yeah. So traditionally, it's not crazy for a company to pay $350 to $500 for a press release like this.
More actually, Josh. So if you're using the going back many years before press cable came out and really went a lot cheaper with this, people were used to paying anywhere from $750 to $1,500 per press release. Because if you as an agency went to PR Web, your cost of it was going to be $350.
Yeah.
Right? You want to add a video into it? Oh, that's going to be $500 or $600, whatever it was. So agencies were charging a legitimate $750 to $1,500 once they did the writing, put it all together and then sent it out. I know people who are charging today $1,500 for one cable press release. I don't think the value's there. I don't think that should be done. I'm just telling you that's what I hear the market on the high side. On the low end, I would say $250 per, but only if they're going to sign up for a 6-month or a 12-month plan. If it's just going to be a true one-off, the right price for me is somewhere between $350 and $650 on a one-off.
So yeah, I mean, if you want to add this as a one-off for a client, you could do that. Obviously, charge for it. $500, $750 value. Also for value stacking, when you're talking to your client about what your deliverables are, you could say, look, we're going to push out a high-value press release as part of our strategy every single month, and that's a $750 value when you think about writing it, distributing it, tracking it, right? And so you can leverage it that way. One thing we didn't even get to talk about, and it was one of the things I wanted to make sure we cover, maybe we'll do a separate session just on this, is that Alan, for years, hopefully Alan's still with us, would do this as a foot in the door strategy with prospects. So if they were interested, but they were kind of on the fence, he'd say, hey, look, let me show you what I can do. And he would run a press release in a secondary, like for a secondary term, and show quick rankings and be like, look what we did here. And that could definitely be done with this platform as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Go ahead. I just wanted to real quick, I was going to echo Josh's last comment. I think from an client acquisition strategy, for the cost, because the credit cost is truly what it costs us, right? It's a pass-through cost. For that minimal investment to acquire a client, there's a huge value perception, and you can communicate that to them, and say, you're wanting to invest and show up front that you can bring value to this relationship before you're asking them for money or asking them for the account. And just the fact that they're being distributed on ABC, NBC, CBS News, many of them don't understand, what we understand as SEOs and as agencies. It seems fairly easy now for us to do this, but the average business owner doesn't understand that, nor could they even find that out, right? If they went to PR Web Precision, which are much more typical press release, entities, it's very expensive, right? It's a long process, and for you to kind of take away that mystery and that difficulty on their behalf and then communicate that to them, that really helps from a client acquisition strategy.
Absolutely. Alan says he still does it to this date. It's still one of his main foot in the door, get the client locked down, show them, hey, look, I got you ranked for this term. You weren't ranking for it before. I did this in a very short window of time. Imagine what I could do for you if we were working together on an ongoing basis. And so, Alan, maybe we'll do a breakout session on that particular topic sometime soon.
Yeah, using a $50 or $60, done for you press release for client acquisition. I mean, yeah, it's a great way to prospect and show value ahead of time.
The deliverable is even more than just even helping their rankings, because this increases visibility, right? Visibility will certainly increase, and visibility leads to credibility. And unaided brand awareness is very difficult to quantify, but everybody knows the more unaided brand awareness that a company has, the more valuable, the more present they are, top of mind in front of their prospects. So, attribution is difficult, but if you communicate the reality that it improves visibility, which improves credibility, granting the fact that their reputation is being managed, then, it's indisputable. That's a deliverable that doesn't need to be and quantified, and it could be quantified when it does help, rank certain keywords.
I want to just remind everyone, this is not a sales tactic at all, guys. I just want to make sure, because I don't want to have anybody complaining next week, oh, the price went up. On our lifetime access, we were scheduled to do this on July 1st. We officially came out of beta. We did a 6-month beta test with about 100 agencies, worked out all the things that we needed to work out, released some new features and innovations like service area, business integration, and all that. So we delayed our price increase for 2 weeks to get through our officially getting out of beta launch. Next Tuesday, our lifetime access prices are going up. Your coupon code will still work, but it will be more expensive next Tuesday and thereafter. So just be aware of that. No sales pressure or what have you here. I just want to make sure you guys are aware of that. That was scheduled to go in, a couple of months ago. So
good deal. Well, I think this has been awesome. Thank you guys so much for sharing, kind of the strategy and the thought process. Thank you for building this tool and making it available. I'm excited about really having a competitive advantage for myself and my agency, as well as for the members of the 7-figure agency. You guys you've got clear next steps on this. This is part of what you should be doing for your clients. Be sure to take advantage of this while the opportunity is still there. Anything else we should cover before we wrap up, Matt or Lane?
No, other than just thanks for everyone's time. I know we had a lot of people stay out almost the entire webinar, so yep. I know we're at 2 hours here. So thank you for your time. I hope you guys feel like you received value and learned some things, regardless of whether you use our tool or not. Hopefully we were able to just teach you some new strategies and some new methods and things you can do as an agency owner to help you and your clients do better in SEO and help you with keeping them longer, with better retention. Josh, thank you for putting this on, hosting it. Appreciate your support, and you know, I'll be in the group here to help, you know, whatever I can do to help your agencies in seven-figure agency be successful using the tool or just using the strategies.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks so much for your time. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you guys again soon.
Thanks, everyone.